Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. I got some funny stuff to get to and an epic comment. The epic comment is going to be most of the video. There's a few things on my other channels I want to point out, one from each one. Some stuff that's going on that shows that YouTube appears to be breaking down a little bit more. But first, there is the video called "There Is a Solution." It's also on my Twitter feed here. Um, you know, I believe that the Sajmark meditation is a solution to the problem of human life and our soul's journey and things. And I put this video up. It'd be good if people watched it. It's on my Gratefullness meditation channel, but also on my Twitter feed here. Um, so I don't post things on Twitter. I made this video actually for Twitter, but it's too long to post there, so I had to post it on a YouTube channel. Those of you who are interested, it comes with a experiment of doing the gratefulness meditation. Then this happened. There's a video I'm putting up, re-uploading now. It appears that Yukon, Iowa game was rigged in favor of Adam's Apple sporting star Caitlin Clark. There's the Adam's Apple in question. So there's a couple of clips I used. One from ESPN, which is bad at copywriting, and another was from a State Farm commercial, which featured a song. And so I uploaded this yesterday, and I uploaded it twice. And it's still checking to see if there's any copyright issues. This is over 24 hours. That's extraordinary. It usually takes 10 minutes to figure out whether there's copyright material in it. And then I can just edit out the copyright material and re-upload the video, which I'm doing now. I got rid of the song, and so hopefully it'll go through. But, it's just... But YouTube is not running correctly. The other thing on my, this is the exposing the Heartfulness dodgy scam, and I asked people to subscribe, and that was great. You guys did a good job with that, and I appreciate that. There's 1,202 subscribers. I needed 1,000, and they're slow walking the views. So this is 3,909. I need 4,000 to monetize this channel. It's not going to bring in much money, but it'll be, I should get compensated for it. Like it's going to probably be like $5 a day or something, or when I make a video, like it's going to be nothing. But they're slow walking this thing because over the last 28 days, I've have 8,000 views, and I haven't uploaded a while. So, they take about a week to register these views, but there's enough back here. These are recently. But 7,000, and I need 4,000, so it's already exceeded this, and that's on the lifetime of the channel. There's 13,000 views. Now, about 5,000 of those were videos that have been copyrighted. I got copyright strike from Heartfulness Meditation channel, but other than that, the rest of them, there's over 9,000 views. And so this should be 9,000, right? But it's, they're just slow walking the thing. Like yesterday it was 3,882. So they put in 30 more views. Like it's just ridiculous because it just compensates them as well. They want people to monetize their channel. But they're, and this is all algorithms and the bots. Or AI, they're just, I dealt with this when I ran ads. YouTube's falling apart. Like they've lost control of their algorithms and their AI and their machine learning, and it's just a mess. So I can't verify this. YouTube recommended this to me, and I'd want to start here. So, they fast is it Ramadan? In the Muslim tradition, there's fasting. Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, is fasting. There's a college basketball player who played for, I think, the North Carolina State, who was fasting. And it's hard to fast and go without water and play, food and water and play, a competitive sport. But this guy is some kind of a sheik, And he gets a call, and again, I can't speak for the translation here.
مرحبا وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Today, I accidentally fell, and a shawarma fell into my mouth. You can hear him say the word shawarma. With some extra tahini.
نعم.
And a slice of apple. And around 3 liters of water. Should I keep fasting? Or was it Allah who has fed me? The guy's looking again. Great. Yeah, he fell down, and a shawarma fell in his mouth with extra tahini and a slice of apple and some water, 3 liters of it. And maybe it was Allah who fed him, and not him cheating on his religion. Taiwan's largest earthquake in 25 years. Trump sues Truth Social co-founders. Morning rundown. We know about I don't know what this is. The earthquake here, and we've seen this. Trump doesn't like the co-founders of his social media platform. Truth Social should be entitled to their stock. Doesn't think. Stock in the company, according to a recent lawsuit. Executive Wes Moss and Andy Litinsky, who were former contestants on The Apprentice, made a series of costly mistakes that resulted in a long delay of the company going public. The lawsuit urges a judge to strip them of their shares in the company. I mean, the guy just can't run anything right. He just, Trump's concerned about the money. Don't stop there. Earlier this week, he posted the $175 million bond, all that stuff. But Truth Social is losing value. His, version of Twitter. And, it's a mess over there. I said he should have done this while he was president, but he didn't. And we waited too long till after it was too late, after they had deplatformed him. Should we be worried? My uncle filmed this outside of Vegas. These military vehicles. I've seen some things. My wife and I have the video somewhere. But we saw what looked like bomb shelters. This was maybe 2 months ago. And then a couple months before that, as we were driving, across the country, there was these trucks that had these structures that had a door on either side, and they were about 10 by 10 foot, on big trucks, taking up, extra room, 10 by 10 foot. And they had doors, like they had 3 doors on each side, facing each other on the opposite sides of the structure. And you could see that they were about 4 inches thick, concrete. And I was like, what are those, like, weird things? And they're shipping them across the country. And we saw it, on 2 different occasions about 2 months apart. And we've seen a lot of these military vehicles going out there.
Joining me now is Tristan Snell. He's the former Assistant Attorney General for New York, who led the office's investigation into Trump University. He also is the author of the book Taking Down Trump: 12 Rules for Prosecuting Donald Trump.
These guys, this is Tristan Snell.
By someone who did it successfully. Tristan, thank you very much for joining us. I know you're just pouring through the filing, but what stands out to you and what are you finding?
Well, first off, I'm still trying to get information, just as you are. I really, really hope that that's 175 million and not 175,000.
Yeah, right. It's right.
175 million was already, in my view, way too low. I think the appeals court botched this badly.
It botched this badly. It botched this badly.
By allowing him to get off the hook.
Well, allowing him to get off the hook, $175 million is a lot of money for this kind of thing, but whatever. CNN facing identity crisis after firings, low ratings, and new talent not a priority, don't have the money. And so, former CEO Chris Licht, who was spotted during Oscar week during seemingly without a care in the world at the San Vincenzo Bungalows, Hollywood's starriest private club. The ousted news exec was seen in a solo corner of the Los Angeles club private's open-air library, texting away on his phone with his feet up. Maybe like has the last laugh after all. Remember, this guy got fired. And CNN was tanking. They brought him in, and he had worked at Stephen Colbert. The self-proclaimed most trusted name in news. He worked with Stephen Colbert, and they put him in as a, whatever. And now they have like Charles Barkley on there, right? Like they've abandoned reality. The self-proclaimed most trusted name in news, fighting an uphill battle to remain relevant 2 years after Discovery took it over, sources tell. There's Don Lemon. Anderson Cooper remains on the network's only primetime star after CNN axed Cuomo and moved Don Lemon to mornings, only to fire him last year under Licht's watch before Licht was shown the door. Insiders at the network say feel talent has become an afterthought after former New York Times and BBC honcho Mark Thompson took the helm in October following Licht's catastrophic 13-month stint as leader. It's an effort to boost ratings, presumably CNN. Oddly fired Lemon back to promote his interview with Elon Musk, which we saw. But all of it, right? They're falling apart. Another source told CNN they couldn't hire top news talent right now, even if they wanted to. It doesn't seem to be a priority. They don't have the money to find the next big star. They don't have any stars there. We hear Lemmer's former show co-host Poppy Harlow is limbo at the network since it canceled her ill-fated morning show with Phil Mattingly in February. The situation is even more bleak for staffers off the camera, we hear, with one source telling us a lot of staffers are losing their jobs. And they have to pay Don Lemons all this money. And so there's Caitlin Collins, Anderson Cooper, that strange M&F somehow surviving. Unlikable. They just suck over there, right? It's because they suck. You guys suck. Your content sucks. And as much as they want, like I've been covering this with Don Lemon's whining about this, as much as they've gamed the system to get an advantage over people in the truth community, people don't want to watch them no matter what. Israelis staged largest protests since war began to increase pressure on Netanyahu. There's people in Israel that are not happy with what's happening here. Lots of them. There's a big liberal contingent there. Shakira says her tween sons absolutely hated the Barbie movie. It was emasculating. Is that what she looks like, Shakira? Maybe that's something else. Shakira says her sons absolutely hated the Barbie movie because they found it emasculating. Good for them. I'm raising 2 boys, and I want them to feel powerful, too, while respecting women. I like pop culture when it attempts to empower women without robbing men of their possibility to be men, to also protect and provide. So, the movie sucks, Shakira. Top Democrats won't join calls for Justice Sotomayor to retire, but they still fear a Ruth Bader Ginsburg repeat. Well, she's going to probably, because of her health issues, not make it through a second Trump administration. And so there's the Morning Joe, people. Biden outraged at Israel over aid workers' deaths as Netanyahu rival Benny Gantz calls for new elections. Well, we all know what happened there. That was a couple of days ago. Israeli to open more aid routes to Gaza, increase deliveries after pressure from Biden. It's not, it's all over. They've gone in a certain direction here, but here's the best part here. Hillary Clinton gave us a lesson on how not to talk about 2020 politics, telling disadvantaged voters to get over yourselves. So this was she went on Jimmy Fallon, which is on NBC, and MSNBC is doing this article kind of slamming Hillary. Shows you, like, even they don't like her. So she talks about her grandkids going to the official White House Easter egg thing or whatever.
Everyone thinks the president is talking to the Easter Bunny. So stop doing it.
I mean, you can imagine what Trump would do with that, right?
Oh, and he did. He did do it, yeah.
No sense of humor. No sense of
zero
humor
sense
at
of
all.
humor,
I mean,
yeah.
come on, they were telling jokes.
Can we, can we talk about the upcoming presidential election?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's talk about my kids and grandkids and Easter Bunny. Why did you bring me on here? I have such an award-winning personality. I'm so interesting. Why would you bring me on here to talk about politics? What's wrong, Jimmy? Oh, why would you even do that? Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have to. We have to. No more Easter Bunny talk, yeah. I mean, it's Biden versus Trump. We know that.
It is. It is.
It is. You know, this is my official opinion and expertise. It is, unless it isn't.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the
Get over yourself.
two choices.
Yeah.
Get over yourselves. Those are the two choices. It's the same award-winning personality that got her elected the first woman president of the United States.
I love that.
Right? And,
Yeah, good.
I love that. Woo!
you know, it's kind of like one is old and effective and compassionate,
Yeah.
has a heart, and really cares about people. And one is old
And the other one's Joe Biden.
and has been charged with 91 felonies.
Yeah, okay. Okay, interesting.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice, really.
Oh, yeah, but you made some hard choices. She had a book that was called Hard Choices. And she's like, this isn't a hard choice. You obviously have to vote for Biden, just like you obviously had to vote for me in the first place, and I would be first woman president, but you guys didn't get it, and I'm fine. That's all. Because half of America doesn't believe in the official story. More than half. Because now it's Democrats because of the Israeli thing. And so that's why it's a hard choice, because it's not a choice at all. It's two guys who are basically the same dude. Both of them failed presidencies. Both of them failed lives, right? And people like you are the alternative choices. And so that's why it's a hard choice, because there's not a quality candidate. There's not a human being or somebody who has integrity and would be a real president who's running for president, has the potential to be elected. That's why it's a hard choice, Hillary.
I
Yeah.
don't understand it.
Yeah.
But we have to go through the election, and hopefully people will realize what's at stake, because it's an existential question. What kind of country we're going to have, what kind of democracy we're going to have.
Okay, Hillary, nobody likes you, even now. You get more unlikable as you get older. Okay, so I got an epic comment. This comment deserves a video in itself. I think the person is a longtime viewer, based in the name. I'm not sure. It's a dude revisiting my old Michelle Obama videos and A-list Hollywood actors. Really, it has nothing to. The comment doesn't have anything to do with this right here, right? The title or the video I made. This is from previous videos. You're so holier than thou. B, she's speaking to me. You hate Christians, and that's fine. I don't, but why is that fine, right? You hate Christians, but that's fine. But that's fine. That's how she's saying this. You're so holier than thou. You hate Christians, and that's fine. But you do the same. You talk about how they're stuck in their ways, but you do this. But you are the same with your beliefs. It's fine. Then why are you writing these comments? It's fine. It's fine. Oh, it's fine. But then why are you upset? Why are you so butthurt? Why are you so butthurt, Christian lady? Right? So first of all, I don't hate anybody, and certainly not Christians. So what I've talked about in the past videos, this is what she's reacting to, is that there is obviously lies in the Bible and the Christian religion. And I've said right off the bat, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. I'm fine with it. It's not my problem. It's not for me to be fine with it or not. If you can't do more than your religion, any religion, then, that's what you should do. It's better than doing nothing. At least you have some connection to the idea of God. But the religions themselves are all hypocrisies, and they're all cultish and all these things because they've warped the teachings of Jesus. They've disrespected Jesus. I was talking about how Easter isn't the time of Jesus's death and his alleged resurrection, and Christmas isn't the day of his birth. They've lost those official days because of the pagan holidays, all these things, right? That's what I was talking about. And I said that if you're a so-called truther, if you're a person who's looking behind the curtain and you're realizing that the things you've been told about everything is a way to indoctrinate you, and there's a controlling system, then you really have to look at your religion, right? If you're actually a real truther, you're a person seeking truth, you'd have to look at your religion. So that's all I said. That's not hatred for Christians. The reason I'm bringing it up because they keep on saying things on my channel, trying to run their agenda through my channel, which I don't appreciate, right? I have my own point of view. And when people kind of try to hijack that and push their own, agenda, like saying John 3:16, and, it's constant, and those are the Christians that are annoying, and they're, and eventually I'm going to call them out on what they're doing, just like I call everybody else out on my channel. I don't go to Christian channels and tell them what I'm saying on my channel. I don't go to their channels and say what I believe. I don't do that. That would be rude and wrong, and it would be pointless, right? I don't do that to anybody. I don't go to anybody else's channel and leave comments about how my worldview is better than theirs. But they do that to me, right? These people, not all Christians. I have lots of Christians who watch my videos who are, who like my content, and they behave, appropriately. This isn't all Christians. I'm not blaming all Christians for the behaviors of some of them, right? So there's no hatred. If I was going to hate anybody, it'd be Dodgy and the people in Heartfulness, because I know them, right? My ex, people like that, right? And I don't hate them because I don't want to feel hate. Like, feeling hate is bad. So this is inaccurate, right? This is this person's butthurt interpretation. You are so holier than thou. You hate Christians, and that's fine. Well, I don't hate them. You didn't really understand what I was saying. What I'm saying is that the religion has been contaminated, just like what's happening to my Saj Marg is being contaminated with Heartfulness, because that's what happens. People wreck pure spiritual movements. When Jesus was alive, he was a spiritual person. He was a saint, and they've warped his teachings for financial benefit, right? The religion, it's a power and control system, just like all religions are. It's what's happening to my thing, and that's a real bummer. If I was going to be emotional about something, it would be about that. If I'm angry about something, it's about what Dodgy's doing, because what's happened with Christianity, that ship has sailed. And I had a good experience with, you guys heard my, whatever. I gave my opinion about Jesus. Maybe it was at the end of that video. But anyways, you talk about how they're stuck in their ways, but you're the same with your beliefs. It's fine. Everyone has their beliefs, but you constantly bring up those people's beliefs and how stupid and hard-headed they are. No, because they keep on leaving the same comments, and they keep on trying to hijack my content and what I'm doing here with their own agenda, which is just wrong and rude, and it's ineffective. It just pisses people off. And, pushing your belief system, everyone knows what you believe. Christianity, people understand what Christianity is, that the only way to get to heaven is through Jesus. Everyone gets that, right? That's what you believe. We don't believe that, the rest of us. People who've left Christianity, people who do other practices, whatever. You keep on pushing that thing, and nobody likes it, right? And Jesus wouldn't like it, because you're not helping Jesus out. You're pushing a religion. This has nothing to do with Jesus. This has to do with a defunct belief system. And it says here, you just said you used to make the exact same videos, and I remember you also shared so many beliefs that the Q people did. No, the Q people hijacked things that me and other people created and changed them to dumb those things down. For example, the same thing happened with the pizza people, right? I worked as a clinician with sex offenders for years, teenage sex offenders. And so as an expert, and my ex had allegedly suffered sexual abuse from her dad. And so I, lived this in my personal life, the results of that, someone who had been affected mentally and, emotionally damaged because of this stuff. And then I worked with it professionally, and I wrote a whole workbook on it, right, about transforming abuse. And the Q people came in, dumbed it down. Like, for example, Jimmy Kimmel did a sketch with Tom Hanks where Tom Hanks with toddler and tiaras, and I showed you the clips from it. And the whole thing's available still on YouTube. And Tom Hanks is creepy with a fake daughter who's one of those toddlers and tiaras thing. And it's abusive and it sexualizes children. And Tom Hanks, if I said Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks has done other things that seem very creepy, a lot of creepy behaviors. But that's all we know legitimately as facts, things that he's done that show you that he isn't this nice guy, and some of these other things. There's a video where he's dressed in his, he used to put on women's clothes in his first show, Bosom Buddies, and he pulls his pants to the side and he says some really raunchy things, like it's pretty gross. It's stuff you can't even put on YouTube, right? And that's what we knew factually what he did. And we can speculate about other things that he's been involved with. There's some rumors, and a woman came forward who has mental issues and accused him of some stuff. But it's not a slam dunk. But people like Isaac Cappy, who, were attention seekers, like these sometimes famous people, semi-famous Hollywood rejects came in and tried to, gain self-promotion and tried to hijack the truth community for their own egotistical reasons, right? That's happened quite a bit. And then the Q movement came in and they started saying things like that these people had all been locked up at Guantanamo Bay, like people like Tom Hanks. And that's just goofy. And, it's not true. And it's ridiculous, right? And so they took it to another level. So that was my problem with the Cubies, because they took something that was sensational enough and tried to sensationalize it, and they just ran with these imaginary things, and they just embarrassed the whole truth community. And now they're used as, look at these Cubies, right? Look at how crazy and stupid these Cubies are, a way to censor all of us. And they don't even know they're getting used, right? People who claim to be patriots that say they want secret military tribunals where people will be locked up and rendered and taken to Guantanamo Bay and not have their legal rights and give up their legal rights, and don't realize that it'll be turned on them. Like they're that stupid. They don't realize that if you get rid of your judicial rights, they're going to turn that on you. They're not going to turn it on the so-called elite. You're stupid. Like, it's just dumb, right? It's stupid. The whole Q movement is stupid, right? They've taken something that we built up that had some legitimacy and some, thoughtful and, reasonable people, emotionally stable and, intelligent people, and they've just hijacked it, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we have some of the same beliefs in an odd way, but it's like not nearly the same thing. It's the opposite, right? It's the same thing that's happened with religion, where there's things that are legitimate. Jesus said that were legitimate, and then people come in and hijack it for profit in these things. That's my point, right? It's totally different, right? You also share so many beliefs with the Q people did, but after the media really started coming for those people, you deleted all your videos. No, that's not what happened. You guys wrecked it so that my videos would cause me to lose my channel, because they were, now retroactively censoring, because you Cubans wrecked that, because you fell for the trap and you put out lies and sensational stuff. So I had to delete my videos. Not that I wanted to. It's because you wrecked it. You Cubies and you dopes. Like, you don't understand this, right? This is somebody making these things up because they're emotionally hurt. Like, you guys have wronged me in a sense, and all the people who built the truth community, with your stupidity, your right-wing stupidity, and your binary, your inability to have abstract thought and, double-digit IQs and things, and coming in and wrecking something that was about seeking truth, not running your right-wing agenda and claiming it to be truthful, like Trump's Truth Social. It's not truth. Trump's not a truther. Trump's he's one of the biggest liars in the world, right? He's a, pathetic little narcissistic man who, can't take any sort of criticism or can't do anything in terms of self-improvement. No self-reflection or anything like that. Not that Biden's better, you dopes, but, you know, because I know that'll come up. Well, what about Biden? You know, but, you know. You deleted all your videos. How can you think that you're so much better and smarter than them? Because my videos were better than theirs. I had to delete quality videos because of what they did, right? And, you know, again, you guys getting worked, just like Trump got worked on COVID, and then, you know, affecting all of us. It doesn't even matter. Go ahead, do your little video over my comment. Yes, I will. That was always made me think two things. You're actually highly sensitive to any beliefs that you don't share, which makes no sense. I don't care what you believe. Like, you guys are forcing your beliefs on me. Like, I see things all the time, and, you know, it's annoying what people are doing. You know, people suck right now. Like all of us, and then some were worse than others. But, you know, I don't get into other people's beliefs. That's why I've been able to survive on YouTube. It's just you keep on forcing those beliefs like you're doing this here. Like, you know, I mean, you've watched enough of my videos. Like, we're going back to the beginning. You hate Christians, that's fine. You talk about how they're stuck in their beliefs, but you are the same way with your beliefs. It's fine. Well, then why are you leaving this comment? Why are you burdening me with your, you know, your lies and your emotional, you know, butthurt comment when I don't hate Christians? Like, you've made that up, right? And you've made up that me and Cubies are equal in some way in terms of the content we produce, and we're not. My content is better than their content because their content is based in a government operation, the Q movement operation. You know, the Q posts that are going out there is the intelligence community, and they have been, you know, they know how to work these people. So you've bought into a psychological operation, and you are feeding off of that, you know, the Cubies, and it obviously got worked out. Like when Trump went down, and those sealed affidavits or whatever it was, those sealed whatever, those, you know, those thousands of sealed whatever it was, indictments, all these sealed indictments, like all these things that were going to happen, they didn't happen, and Trump lost, and you guys were all embarrassed, and like all the Cubies got embarrassed because it wasn't true, because you got worked by a psychological operation that was put out by the intelligence community that's your enemy, and they worked you, and like it was embarrassing. Like, it's so bad. I mean, it was so effed up, right? And so it's not the same, right? Like, you can't see the difference. You can't see the difference between what my content is and what their content is. You know, mine's reasonable, and I say things like, you know, I can't prove this, and I don't even know this for sure, or whatever it is. Like, I make a distinction between what's speculation and what's not, right? And, you know, I was talking about this in terms of my videos when I started making about, you know, Michelle Obama possibly being a dude. You know, mine were more reasonable than the crap that came afterwards. And I would change the ones I made. Like, I've gotten better. Like, I've improved. There's no self-improvement. There's people who are making the same crappy truther videos they made 10 years ago. And I just know that because of what people say on my YouTube channel. They're still buying into this narratives that were put out there that have been either disproven or, you know, have been, I mean, they're limited and remedial, right? They're not sophisticated in their ability to, you know, sort of comprehend multiple possibilities and, you know, whatever it is, right? Like, you know, there's always the possibility that something's being put out there as different disinformation. We know that now. Like, there's things that are being put out there intentionally by thousands upon thousands of government employees who are there to weaken and dilute the truth community and perpetrate it with fraud and lies, right? It's always a possibility, you know, and I understand that when I cover anything. That's why I don't get into it. Like, I know I can't prove things the way that people would like and I would like, because it's all a mess. You know, that they've made everything not believable. You really can't believe in anybody or anything now. Now with the deep fake, it's even worse, right? And so that's what we live with uncertainty. It says here, it says it doesn't even matter. You think that you're so much better and smarter than them. How can you think you're so much better and smarter than them? Because my videos are better and I am smarter. Like, I mean, maybe they're smarter on some things, but certainly not this. It doesn't even matter. Well, then why are you writing it? Go ahead and do your little comment video over my comment. Do my little video over my comment. There's always made me think two things. You're actually highly sensitive to the beliefs that you don't share, that you have to try and embarrass them, or you're just a mean person who can't stand criticism. Well, I get criticized all the time, so I don't, it's funny to me, like lots of times. So it's not that. Criticism has value to me on a spiritual level. Whether I'm a mean person or not, that's debatable. I say mean things. I mean, I certainly, but none of that is, there's a reason. There's a reasonable reason for my behavior in terms of all these groups. Because you've made all of our lives worse through your stupidity. And it's just you getting worked. The QBs, you should admit that you failed. That the Q movement is a joke and you got worked. But it's coming back around again with Trump coming back, and you should all admit that you got worked by Trump and that your religion has indoctrinated you. These are all provable things. Trump with his Operation Warp Speed, like we didn't know what Trump was going to do when he first got elected. And Trump was my favorite character as a president. I really enjoyed him. Up until COVID, and they worked him so bad on COVID, and then the way he acted since then, he's such, petulant little loser, and it was his own fault for getting worked, and they worked his ego, and everybody knows how to work Trump. And that is just, compliment him and pretend that he's this greatest guy that he is, thinks he is, right? And anybody who does that can work. Anybody who criticizes Trump, Trump turns on him. And even Trump can turn on him if Trump can always turn on you. But that's the way they work Trump. And they worked him with COVID, and we see the results. And so it says, or just a mean person. You constantly say, I don't care, don't tell me, I don't need to know. That's because you're just as set in your beliefs like Christians you hate. That's not true at all. The reason I say that is there are times I can't remember somebody's name, and I don't feel like looking it up. Like I can easily just Google it, but I don't. It happened with a video where I called Michael McKean Christopher Guest, the actor from Laverne and Shirley, Michael McKean for the actor Christopher Guest. And I got 200 comments telling me I was wrong. And it was 3 years after the video was already out. And I already knew I was wrong because the first person said it, right? And so that's why I say I don't care, don't tell me, I don't need to know. It's specifically about things like that. Because I'll get so many comments about it, right? It would be one comment would be great, but it's like, oh my God, he made a mistake or whatever it is. And so that's why I say it like I don't need to know. Like it's not important. Whether I call Michael McKean or Christopher Guest isn't really all that important. You saw the picture of the guy. It was a video about Full House, And it really, none of it really matters. It's not that important. The stuff's not important to me because I make a video and I forget about it. Like, my beliefs change all the time and I'm evolving. And so I don't need correction from all of you. Like I don't need, the negative feedback I get from hostile people is there anyway. But you there telling me how I can do better and these things isn't part of this thing. That's why I don't ask for constructive criticism because I'm actually working to be a better person through my spiritual practice, which is, internalized. And that's how I learn and do things. And anybody who's watched my videos can see I've changed and evolved over time. And, and you can see it's gotten better because the amount of people that my videos will appeal to is shrinking because that's what happens as you evolve as an artist and creative material. It happens with musicians and movie makers and things. They make better content. The really dumbed down bad content is what appeals to the masses, right? But anyways, you're butthurt, emotional, and you don't understand, Mike. I know how long you've been watching my videos. You don't understand any of it, right? You constantly say, I don't care, I don't care, don't tell me, I don't need to know. That's because you're just set in your beliefs as a Christian you hate. You're no better. You constantly call other religions cults. Now you say the system you believe in is a cult. Why? Because they deviate from some things that you don't believe in? No, it's literally, I've documented Dodgy doing this to the Sage mark, right? Where the previous masters served God and served humanity, where Daji expects his followers to serve him. And Daji was a spiritual person, Kamlish, like somebody I knew. He was, he was legitimately spiritual and he was service oriented, at least in part, but he's fallen and it's documentable. I've showed the documentation of what's happened. And so you haven't seen any of the videos, like you're disputing the fall of the system, right? What it used to be. You can look at Chargy videos and see him give a talk, and you can see Daji, and you can see the fall off. People are starting to do that. People have watched my videos. So, like, the evidence is there. And you're just making things up, right? Because you're emotionally upset. And you're, again, you can say, I'm an asshole. Sure, I would, that's a legitimate, and that I say things sometimes that are mean, whatever. Those are legitimate things. But, like, you're saying things like I hate Christians when I don't. Like that's your jumping off points are wrong because you're attributing things to me that I don't have, right? And you're making things up to justify your feelings or your emotions, and that's why you're like you suck, because you didn't think this through before you wrote the comment, because this isn't truth what you're saying. These things aren't legitimate criticisms. But if you did have legitimate criticisms, which there are, because I'm not perfect, certainly, and I'm not ever saying that I am, right? Like in terms of the Daji thing, like I couldn't do what Master Chargy did in the system. Like I'm not willing to do that, at least. I don't know whether I could do it if I could serve to that level, but I'm not willing to do it because I don't, I'm not. I mean, it's working for God, but it's serving humanity as well, and I don't feel like humanity deserves that level of commitment, right? Not that I think Chargy made a mistake. I just, I don't have it in me to, I do what I do. My service to God is limited because I know that people suck, right? There's just so much I'm willing to do, and that's what it would take to be that kind of person. But Daji took that on. He took that responsibility on. So, and he's, he's failed epically. He's destroying something that was pure and, like all these other things. But let's get back to it. And so it says here, because they deviate for some things you don't believe in, it's a cult. That means it's always been a cult. No, that's not true. Like, why would you even say that? Because when Jesus was alive, it wasn't a cult. And then it became a religion. Like, it's just stupid. Like, once it becomes a cult, then, yeah, it's probably never going to uncultify. At least in terms of its brand. I said that. There's no, we used to be a cult. Like, that's what I've said about the size, the Heartfulness debacle. But it wasn't always a cult. Like, you're saying that like there wasn't a change in leadership, which there was. And for those of us who've experienced it, when Chargy was the president of the system, and then the other two masters were there, Babaji and Lalaji, it was a spiritual system. And then Daji took it and made it into something else. That happened. Like that was reality. If it was a cult, it was always a cult. Like, like that's just stupid. Like you're not smart. Like you're upset. You're emotionally upset. But even if you're not smart. Like how did you even watch my videos in the first place, right? Like you don't have the capacity for it. If it's a cult, there's always been a cult. Keep on talking down to everyone who doesn't agree with you. Well, I'm not. Like, I just give my opinions. And you guys write comments, and they're hostile comments like this. I wasn't talking to you. I don't even know who you are. I don't know what you think or what you look like or any of these things, right? But you leave these comments, and I respond to them. And you don't like what I say. And you get emotionally upset, which means there must be truth into it that you can't accept, right? Because you're so upset about this, and you're leaving this comment, in full view that it's something that I would find mockable. Keep on talking down to everyone who doesn't agree with you. That's why your channel doesn't have any growth. After new people listen to, yeah, that's true. I'm going to say things eventually that are going to push people away. And then I push people away. Yeah, that's true. But growth of the channel isn't, that's important for me to keep on going. But it's also, it's not something that I'm going to not tell the truth about. I have a truther channel. After new people listen to a few videos, they hear you're insulting them. Is that what happened to you, Pumpkin? And go ahead and say it's not about money, LOL. You keep pushing your other channel, so it'll get monetized. Yeah, so I could be compensated. It's not, I've even talked about that. It'll be like $5 or $10 a day. So it's not real compensation for hour-long videos that I put up there. It's just I should be compensated for my time. But that's, it's a job. Like, this is a job for me. If I didn't get paid, I'm not going to do it. You keep on pushing your other channel, LOL, so it'll get monetized. I've been listening to your videos for a while, but you haven't been, because you don't have the capacity to do it, because everything you're saying here is someone who doesn't understand anything that I say. I don't have all your same beliefs, and I'm okay with that. Well, I'm okay with that too. It's just that your beliefs are not, that your capacity to understand things is not there. But good grief, you're so negative. I'll show myself out. That's the killer right there. I'll show myself out. And so that was an epic comment. And, I talk about this where people, again, if you're upset, be upset about what you're upset about. But don't say I hate Christians again. In your own, not because of me, because of you. Because that's not true. If you're upset because you say I hate Christians, then that's, there's no evidence to support that at all. I have lots of Christians here, and I've benefited from the Christian community. Like, for example, homeschooling my kids, I couldn't have done that without Christian people creating a homeschooling, making it legal, for example. And then all the materials, Christian materials that are there. There's plenty of good Christian people out there. And, there's plenty of good Muslim people out there, and Jewish, like actually religious people, Hindu people, that do a religion, and they're good people. Like, they're in a bad situation with an organization that's manipulating them, but they themselves are good, godly people, and they're doing the only thing that's available to them and what their capacity is. And so certainly there's no hatred to every Christian. That's ridiculous. Like I don't think that way, or I understand that there's always, bad apples in every organization. I don't get along with the people even before they did Saj Marg, and many of them were good people, and they're doing the system well, but we're not the same. I wouldn't say I didn't get along with them, but we don't really, it'd be hard for us to become friends or have conversations about anything that wasn't Saj Marg. But that was enough for me, right? But again, it's the behavior of the people and them turning on Master Chargy, who they claim they love. Like, these are people who were, better and more into Saj Marg than I was, and they benefited from Chargy as much as I did or more, and they claim to love the guy, and they watched his legacy be ruined by his successor. And that's, that's like it's unforgivable, not for me, for themselves, right? They've betrayed themselves, like this disloyalty, like this is like Judas level stuff, right? And so, people do that. And that's, it's a sad fact that people, will behave in such a way. But again, like, if you're upset at me and then you say that I hate Christians, you're not dealing with why you're really upset. Why are you really upset by what I say? Because all the things you said there were lies about me, right? Like saying my thing was always a cult. No, it wasn't always a cult. Like, you don't have the knowledge of it. And me and the QBs are not the same, because anybody would see this. All of us who have dealt with the burden the QBs have been on the truth community, and they basically destroyed the truth community. Like, now it's it's not as good as it was. They've made it worse, just like Trump did, and because of their own personal agenda, and they weren't really truth seekers. You could be a truth seeker and get some things wrong, and get emotionally worked up because of the, being lied to and all these things, and you don't have to do what the QBs did and the flat earthers did and all these other people. Like, they were just too hostile, and they were too aggressive with other people, and it's wrong. And it wasn't the behaviors, but it was also the attitudes, and it was the way it's been utilized as a weapon against the rest of us. But it's people like this that aren't seeking truth. Because you be honest, like, why I can understand you not liking me. I can understand why people don't like me, right? Or why you don't like my videos. That's, there's lots of reasons why, that would happen. I don't make an effort with, I don't consider the people that watch me fans, that's first of all, but I don't make an effort like other YouTubers do to grow my, I don't put effort into growing what I do here by kissing people's asses and telling them what they want to hear and, being nicer or whatever. So I can understand, like, why you might not like me, but making things up about me so that you can justify your emotional response means that you have a psychological schism there, that you're not dealing with the fact that I'm telling you things that are true that are upsetting you. Like, that's what's happened here. Regardless of how, blunt I am about it or how, arrogant I am about it or whatever it is, it's still the truth, right? Like, it is. You know what I'm saying, the truth. That's why you had to make things up to justify your emotional response. And for what reason? Like, what reason would you leave this comment? Because I'm not asking for this comment. In fact, I'm saying don't leave comments like this. I'm saying, this is a waste of my time and your time. In this case, not, because, I had fun mocking it, but it's a part of my content now. But, I already made boundaries about this and you did it anyway. Instead of just going away, you could just stop watching my videos. But you felt like you had to get me, which, none of that stuff is true that you said. It doesn't affect me in any possible way because it's you created a version of me that's not me, that's you, and then you slam and you're trying to tell me about this version of me that you've created. Like, this happens all the time. You created a false version of me that hates Christians and is the same as QB's and belonged to a cult and just made it up that it's the new guy. It was always a cult. And none of those things are true, right? All these things that you said about me, none of them are true because it's not me that you're talking about. It's you, a version of you, imaginary version of me. And you want me to, like, what, you're gonna whap me with a imaginary version of me? You're gonna get me with an imagined version of me, right? It's imagined. It's not me. It's your imagination and your inability to face your psychological inconsistencies and your emotional feelings that you're having to whatever content I'm producing that has nothing to do with me because I'm not even aware of you as a person. I'm sitting here, just talking about my beliefs and what I see and things like this, even now. Like, all I know, I don't know what you look like. I don't know what your voice sounds like. I bet it sounds like... I'm assuming it sounds like you're so holier than thou. You hate Christians, and that's fine. That's what I imagine it sounds like, because that's what the tone of the comment is written in. But it's an imaginary version of me, and so you should figure out what's going on with you. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely pointing from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.